Welcome back to the channel. I received a comment from Swantic2579. I apologize if I said this wrong, but it says, "Hey Chris, a video request from me. Can you please make a video on how to use the Nippy library for NIRS data processing?" NIRS is, I'm assuming, Near-Infrared Spectroscopy data processing. So I will actually make two videos out of this because I think there's some value in first looking at the Nippy library, see what it has, some of the documentation, and then a separate video where we actually use this library for some data processing. I think they both can stand alone. So thank you for the suggestion. We actually will make two videos from this idea. So here it is. This is the Nippy library. This is the Nippy GitHub page. I just searched Nippy NIRS and then came to this page. In this, as you can see, we have a typical GitHub page where we have some examples, some documentation, a README file. Let's see if there's anything there. So I haven't really looked at this too much. So we're going to all be sort of looking through this together. And it says a semi-automated preprocessing Python module for NIR spectroscopic data, NIRS data. This requires Python 3.6. So this is a critical piece of information as you hope set up an environment for using this. If you have an early version of Python, there could be some compatibility issues. And Nippy collects and wraps the most common preprocessing methods. So this could be key. I think this is likely going to use techniques you may have already shown. If they're wrapping, usually when you see this, they're going to be wrapping things like SciPy, perhaps stats model, NumPy, things like that, where there's already some tools that exist, but this is kind of packaging them all together and making it more convenient, wrapping them for use, particularly for this sort of data processing. And it says the aim of this module is to enable the user to quickly test multiple alternative preprocessing techniques and test how that affects the performance of the NIRS model. Again, very common for this type of data where you do want to throw multiple different techniques, such as standard scalar, standard normal variate, other types of scalars at the data to see how it impacts your performance of the models. Many of these require you to explore it, as it is hard to know a priori what will work effectively. And so let's see. You have the ability to check out some of the configuration, to affect the fit for the SAVGOL. So now they're just giving some examples. So you can load your data using NumPy. And so they've got some sample data. I'm hoping they will have provided what their data actually looks like. That's usually good to see what structure they have implemented. For instance, if they have any headers or metadata at the top of the data, of this data table or this file, if the first column are wave lengths or wave numbers, is the second column the intensities, what are the assumptions about the shape of the data, and looking at this NIR data.csv will help us understand what their expected shapes are. It then says we can import Nippy and read the protocol file using this nippy.read configuration. So again, a very typical Pythonic data import. And then we do have access to, let's see, nippy.nippy wavelength spectral pipelines, generates a list of all possible preprocessing permutation. You can pass your data. So this is going to be interesting. Oh yeah, and here we go. So it requires NumPy 1.3 or greater, SciPy 0.19.1 or greater, and sklearn 0.19.2 or greater. And we can pip install using this link here. So I will pip install again. That'll be the second video. But let's take a look at the documentation to see what types of methods there are present. So let's go back. So that was the README. That's the value of the README. That just kind of gives an overview of the library that they have built. It looks like it is going to be using some of the common tools that we may have already developed in the channel, but they have now packaged and differently. But they have now packaged and made it convenient for us to use this. So I think the documentation is probably going to be here. Yep, and then in this nippy.py file. So once we actually import it, do the pip install, rather, this is the file very likely that it will be accessing these, init files, the handler, and then this nippy.py file. So let's spend some time and look at this here. And I'll zoom in a little bit larger to make it a little bit easier for us to see. So again, they just tell us it's a semi-automated preprocessing script for NIR data. It's going to have several functions. Okay, so one, I should have acknowledged the authors. Thank you, authors. I do look forward to using this. I think it's going to be really interesting. And let's see how we can advance our own understanding of how to process NIR data using what these folks have done. So oftentimes in the channel, I have relied on functions to do the data processing, or like functions directly from SciPy. But in this case, they're actually building classes. And so I should make a video to talk about classes, but within the class are a set of functions or methods that allow us to act on this data. So we can see at the top of this Python file, we have a series of imports that will help to support the rest of the data. So SciPy, NumPy, sklearn, Pickle, which is a way of storing models, OS, which is a way of accessing the data and other files that are stored on the computer, more SciPy modules, very typical stuff, perhaps with the exception of this handler I'm a little bit less familiar with. I actually have no experience with. Okay, so if we look at Sofisky Golay, we have built this particular, we've used this signal processor on the channel before, and if we look at the init, it takes in self and then has some default parameters, so a filter window of 11, polynomial order of 3, and so we can see. And these are the same types of things that SciPy would implement or sklearn would implement. It has some default conditions that we could then update if we were to update some of these arguments ourselves. And so we have a fit, we have a transform. So this is very consistent with the sklearn module, where we have a fit and a transform. Sklearn goes a step further and actually has a fit transform where it combines these two steps. But we also have a way to control the data input. So we have a checker here where if we have a data and it returns as sparse, then it will actually stop this method from running. We'll return as value error, and it'll say sparse matrices are not supported. And same with transform. We have some way to control the flow of the data and then raise the right error to help us understand what's going on with the data. So really cool. We have used the is instance as one way to sort of assert or assess the data type. This is another one where it's looking specifically to determine if X is sparse, and if it is, it will raise this error. If not, then it will continue. So if it's allowed to proceed, it'll go into the filter window, and then it's now assessing if the filter window is even or odd, and then we'll perform the method. So now we're actually running SavGol on the transformed data. So again, this is why it's really important to understand the orientation of the data. And then it is also now passing in the filter window, the polynomial order. So if we do update it, it will update here. Otherwise, it will take in these default arguments there. And then there's other, so this is going to be the common data structure where we have a fit, we have a transform. It will actually run the filter method and then return the updated X. We have also in here a local standard normal variate. So again, a similar process. And then we'll run the method at the bottom and then return this local SNV. There's a normalizer. So this is actually looks like a really nice set of tools where we can take our same input data structure, DF or X, or whatever we might call it, and assess multiple different preprocessors. We've already seen 3. Here they have a no preprocessing, where all it does is validate the data structure, it looks like, so it determines if it is sparse. So this is probably just a good way to ensure that we still have the right data, even if we don't do one of those other preprocessors. A detrending. So lots of things that we have explored and some new techniques. So I definitely look forward to making a full video looking at this. Now let's go down further to see what else they have in here. Okay, so here they do call out some specific preprocessing functions. So they have a baseline function where they take in the spectra, And so again, we do need to look at what the shape is, but the baseline corrector is just subtracting the mean of the spectrum from each spectra. So we've done this before. They have a standard normal variate, which they're computing. And by doing that, they can, again, compute the mean, divide by standard deviation, and return that output. So one thing that's interesting is that they also have a way to perform a robust RNV, a robust normal variate. And so generally speaking, when you see robust, you should be thinking median instead of mean. Robust meaning it's more resistant to the effect of data skew or outliers, which could shift the mean, and the median tends to be resistant to that. And so that's why we call it robust. And so instead of np.mean, we have np.median, and we divide by this percentile range here. So just a way to kind of help us not be so impacted by potential outliers if the data is skewed significantly or is known to have some outliers. So I really look forward to exploring this even more, considering the types of methods that they have sort of bundled all together, some of which I'm not as familiar with, this EMSC. Or extended multiplicative scatter correction. So lots of things that we can do to, I have an abundant amount of NIR data, and we will even see if they provided us some data to explore as we test this library out, see if it actually works. It seems to be reasonably up to date, but there's always risks when exploring it. So I will set up a separate environment with, the right Python version installed, the proper pandas, SciPy, everything that's needed, and then import the Nippy library as well. And so I will continue to look through this. I hope this was helpful. There's lots of tools that we have applied on the channel by directly going to SciPy, NumPy, sklearn, but it seems like this packaging actually would make that very convenient, particularly for looking at analytical data. And so let's give it a shot. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.